Hey everyone, this is Ultra Runner. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to take a quick look at the Hot Toys DX47AE, Artisan, Darth Vader, Sith Apprentice. This is the Star Wars Celebration exclusive. Hot Toys only released 1,500 of these in this particular look. I can see the nameplate there. This is supposed to be essentially Dark Side Anakin, but as we've all come to learn from looking at the shipper, that this is actually a Ahsoka figure, which is kind of a good thing, I guess, for people who are expecting and hoping for a 2.0 version of Dark Side Anakin. This is actually not it. And I really didn't want to do a full review today, just because, there's tons of those out there much better at this than I am. My studio's not really set up, or my office there is not really set up for this. But I really wanted to go and take some good looks at the figure itself, and I'm just kind of talk through what this guy is not, and versus what he is. So for most people, this is not a definitive Anakin, because it's not supposed to be Anakin, it's supposed to be Darth Vader. Ahsoka, essentially, when he starts fighting Padawan Ahsoka in the, I guess it's season 7 Ahsoka, in the flashback in the Ahsoka show, I think it's episode 5. And then he, basically goes into this form here, and, he has a red lightsaber, and essentially that's what this figure is. So, for those who are upset about the fact that they made him such an exclusive, I don't think that's a big deal at all, personally. Like I've said, as a new to Hot Toys collector, I picked up my first one December 2023, and then I picked up my next 34 between December of 2024 and now. So I've really converted from Mayfex and SH Figure Arts and Black Series and a little bit of Marvel Legends directly into Hot Toys. Like I've said, with my collection is something I wanted to live with, and not something I wanted to live with me. So I don't have, or something I wanted my collection to live with me, not me live with it. So I'm not going super hard on collecting a ton of figures. I just really want to collect the ones that I think that are just most prominent. And so for me, this was and will be probably my only Darth Vader / Anakin appearance looking figure. This Artisan figure is pretty stellar, and like with anybody who collects, you want something that really is unique. So that's why we do a lot of customizations. I see a lot of people do custom head sculpts and things of that nature. Fusion reactor kits is another great way of having something that's unique. Or like for my Cyborg, I don't see a lot of people with Cyborg lit up, but the Fusion reactor kit keeps them lit up, and that character is, and that figure is completely different once you light him up. And so with this figure here, for me personally, and this was, as a new Hot Toys collector, a great place to start to get something that is new, that is going to be limited, that will truly make my collection unique. And for me, take care of my Vader and my Anakin all at one time. Now, as far as this concerned, I've never had one before this, so this is my first version of this particular figure in this look. As my first Artisan as well, I do have Winter Soldier on the way, and I'm hoping to possibly get, I might have to buy a secondhand, the Wanda, but, Scarlet Witch from Endgame. But essentially, if I only have him and Winter Soldier, I'll be okay. But what I'd like to say about this Artisan piece here is, the hair is not really what I would expect it to look like. All the videos, all the photos I saw online, I feel like there's been something done to their hair, but I haven't touched his hair at all. So it came like this. I didn't have any imperfection, no glue stains, nothing like that. This left side of his head right here, that piece kind of flares out, and I'm gonna have to do something with that. which matches this out here, but this lays down a little bit better. But what I will say is, looking at Jetta's video comparing the two, sorry about the bobbling, this Anakin and this Darth Vader, I do prefer, I think the regular Anakin has a better resemblance than this Darth Vader to what Hayden Christensen looked like. But when I go back and look at the Ahsoka show, that's really where I kind of go, okay, they did a good job of really nailing this, and I'm pretty happy with it. I don't think it's like a necessary one for everyone, but I think in the right pose, he does look really well. Pretty happy with the proportions, pretty happy with the way it looks. As far as the tailoring and things like that, because I don't have a one to compare to previously, and I don't have the other Artisan coming because, like I said, this will be my only one. I only have limited space, have about 55 spots, and this is going to serve a lot of this. But the one thing I know a lot of people were upset about was the eye color, and I think that goes back to the fact that this is not, Revenge of the Sith Anakin. This is, Darth Vader from Ahsoka. And if you look at the thumbnail, I've got them a side by side, and you can see his eyes, or even when she, I guess right after they're battling, and she basically disarms him and turns off his lightsaber and tosses it. There's a close-up shot, that's the one I'm using in the thumbnail, that shows his eyes. And his eyes are not Sith yellow like they are, the yellow Sith eyes like they were in episode 3. They're actually orange like this. So a lot of people were saying that Hot Toys missed the boat. But again, once we saw the shipper and realized where it's from, I think that kind of changes everybody's perspective. But so getting one with the yellow eyes, I think which will actually be, the Darth Vader. I guess technically it's Dark Side Anakin, but really he's Darth Vader at that point too. But the Revenge of the Sith version is going to be what everybody's going to want. So for those who didn't want to, didn't go to Star Wars Celebration, didn't want to pay for this on the aftermarket, pay a ton for it, this is definitely an easy figure to skip. Like I said, for me, I think it was one of those factors where this will definitely take my collection up a notch. And that's really that's all I looked at it for was, and then for me, like I say, I'm not a huge Anakin fan. Like I've said it before multiple times on many videos. My favorite Jedi is Ahsoka. So every version of her is what I'll try to typically have. My favorite Star Wars character is Boba Fett. And so I've got a ton of him. And of course, my favorite action figure my favorite superhero is Captain America. So I've got a ton of him. But for me, we all know the story of Star Wars is about, the rise and fall of Anakin and the lineage of his family. But other than, of course, Hayden Christensen being a tremendous actor, and my favorite movie of all 6, because I don't count the sequels, is Revenge of the Sith. And I'm old enough to have seen Empire Strikes Back in the movies. So, which is why I fell in love with Boba Fett, because that was just a super cool little, bounty hunter situation with him and Vader and stuff like that. So, but I really love Hayden, and Revenge of the Sith was the lightsaber work was just tremendous, and this is exactly what I wanted in a figure. And of course, now that I'm collecting Hot Toys, it's something I could have done, and really, really happy with how this turned out. I think for me and my collection, I'm going to do a little bit of a collection tour probably next month once my Ahsokas come in, because I don't think it's been a pretty big update. I've picked up a lot of figures in the last few weeks. I'll say a lot. I think I've just finished the Bad Batch and a couple other guys. But what I like to do is just do one once I have my Ahsokas here, and you guys can kind of see what the update is so far. But I'll definitely tell you the nailed a lot of the smoky eyes and things of that nature with his face and the makeup and the painting. I think and even the mouth open piece, it adds a nice little grimace if you got his head tilted down. And so the pose I have him in is the scene when he tells Ahsoka incorrect. In season 5 when he battles the season 7 version of Ahsoka in episode 5 of the Ahsoka show, and he's kind of stalking her, and that's I had that as a wallpaper for a while, and I really really like that look because Anakin is always fast moving in everything he does, and this was the first time I think I really saw him just kind of stalk, not because he was moving slow when he battled Obi-Wan, but when they were on that rail, but that was just because he had to. But this particular fight with Ahsoka, he just was kind of slowly stalking her. He had his lightsaber trailing, and then he was slowly reaching forward with left hand, bringing it up to use two hands to attack. And that's how I have mine posed. And so that is the look for him, for at least for right now. But super, super happy with this figure. Again, I think this is definitely not one for everyone, but for your Ahsoka shelf, this is a really good one to have, and definitely not a requirement by no stretch of the imagination. I won't get into speculation about are they going to make a sculpted version or make a widespread version 2.0 dark side. I don't know. I'm not been around Hot Toys long enough to really know this, other than I think this is a great time to be a Hot Toys collector. If you're new to Hot Toys collecting, we're getting some of the best figures. Apparently a lot of people like Justin and guys who've been in the game a long time, Will, Foxification, Kiko and those guys, Jetta have said this is best time to be a collector. And I'm here for it. As a new collector, being able to get into something this nice, this good, and of course, like I say, this exclusive, because that's something that we all typically like, is having something that really nobody else has. And again, a great addition to my collection, and just something I'll have, like I say, is my one and only Vader. Maybe I'll do something different later on, but right now, the way I've got my displays mapped out, this is probably going to be it, and I'll be perfectly happy with having this look as my perfect version. Because me, and I don't, like a lot of us, having a mythos version of Anakin, what happened if he went full potential and dark side didn't have to get damaged up by Vader, and turn into the robotic version of Vader. This is probably the closest we're ever going to get. So for me, pretty happy with this. And, let me know your thoughts and comments below. Definitely like to hear about it. And, hopefully you guys enjoyed this just kind of discussion video about this piece here. And like I say, essentially what he is and what he is not. And, again, what he is not a dark side Anakin. He is Ahsoka, fighting Darth Vader in the World Between Worlds on Ahsoka Show Season 5. All right. Let me know. Thanks for checking out the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Later.